As of right now, the 2024 Cannes Film Festival is fully underway. We're getting all these crazy headlines, very long standing ovations, and weird reactions to movies. I just saw this morning that Megalopolis premiered, Francis Ford Coppola's new movie, and it had a pretty crazy reaction to it. And I'm here today to discuss what these ovations that are 10 minutes long really mean at film festivals, because I do think that some people misinterpret what it actually means for what it actually is. And I'd really love to dive headfirst into that and have a conversation with you guys about these crazy reactions to movies that we especially hear at the Cannes Film Festival. So let's get into it. So if you don't know what the Cannes Film Festival is, it is essentially the biggest film festival in the world, where you got a lot of movie premieres, some for big blockbuster movies, but more so artistic films, especially ones with auteur directors behind it, as well as some smaller gems that kind of get pulled out of the group and become Oscar players later in the year. That happened last year with Anatomy of a Fall. That's where we started getting buzz from that movie, and it eventually grew into an Oscar contender. This year, there is a wide variety of films that are premiering there, and we still haven't heard reactions for a lot of them because it's pretty much only just begun. We did see a reaction to Furiosa, and we've just seen a reaction to Megalopolis, as well as Andrea Arnold's Bird. And they're always crazy reactions. It is notorious for having very outspoken reactions, primarily the overly long and sometimes awkward standing ovations. You hear some movies get a 5 to 10 minute standing ovation. I believe the longest standing ovation for a film at the Cannes Film Festival was Pan's Labyrinth, which went on for 22 minutes. I mean, that just sounds like the most awkward shit ever. I don't know how you could possibly do that. Well, I kind of do, because I do know how they kind of structure that applause, having seen some clips of it. But it just feels so crazy, and I think that some people are really confused as to why these reactions are sometimes happening for movies that either don't deserve it or are just kind of okay. You hear all these crazy headlines about the movie. It really builds it up to be the craziest movie ever when you hear all these headlines on Twitter and what people are saying. So I do think it is important when we talk about the Cannes Film Festival to understand who actually attends this film festival and why are they saying these crazy things and we're getting these crazy reactions. So speaking on just my experience at attending film festivals, I haven't been to Cannes. That is definitely a dream of mine. I would love to go one day. It is one of the reasons why I made this YouTube channel, because to attend the Cannes Film Festival, you need a press invite. It's not so simple as purchasing a ticket and going. Now, in terms of my experience at film festivals here in Queensland, you get a very eclectic mix of people that attend these film festivals. And from what I hear from other people's experiences at other film festivals around the world, it seems pretty similar. So you firstly get the casual film fans that attend who want to try something different. They're feeling a little bit experimental. They're sick of seeing Marvel movies or Disney movies or whatever. So they want to go to the film festival and see something different. And that can be disastrous in a way, because they have never prepared themselves for artistic movies like what they show at film festivals. For example, a few years ago, I saw Saint Maud, the Rose Glass movie, and I really enjoyed my time with the movie. It's obviously a little bit mixed, but I really enjoyed it. I came out of it feeling quite positive, and I talked to some people after that screen. They're like, oh, did you just see Saint Maud? What do you think? And me and my fiance were both like, we loved it. It was a great movie. We had a good time. And they were like, did we see the same movie? Like, you kind of get reactions from people who just never have seen these types of movies and go, what the fuck was that? And that is quite interesting, first and foremost. So you do get those people that attend the film festivals. Then you get diehard festival goers like myself who attend every single year and are really excited about this event. It's kind of the Christmas of every year. You mark it on the calendar, you get an Excel spreadsheet, plan what you're going to watch, how you're going to fit it into your schedule, and how you're going to organize travel, everything like that. And it's really, really exciting. A lot of those people might see 10 movies a year, maybe more. I do have a friend that sometimes sees 20 or so. Would love to do that, but unfortunately sometimes I don't have the time. I'm kind of maxed out at 10. And then you get film critics as well who are just there to write their reviews for their website or their YouTube channel. Kind of what I'm starting to get into now. And then you get the most pretentious people you will ever meet. I mean, they only pop up at these film festivals. You never really see these people at any normal showing throughout the year. They react very weirdly to the movies. Sometimes they won't be making a joke in the movie, but people will laugh at it in a really weird way, like it was a joke. And the reactions are just so off and awkward and just don't make sense at all. And they just think they're the smartest people ever. You hear them talking about the movies afterwards, and they're using all these big words to kind of explain the movie in the most wrong way possible, and you can tell they clearly missed the point of the movie, but they want to act as smart as possible. Then you get some pretentious people that are actually smart. So you get this really wide range of people with different opinions, different goals and objectives when going into the theater, and it is very interesting. Now, from what I hear about people's experience at the Cannes Film Festival, it seems like that times by 100, and even more so because of the exclusivity that comes with that film festival and how prestigious it is. This film festival is filled with critics and press watching these movies, and they're the ones that make the headlines, that write the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, that give it these weird, wild reactions that kind of build it up in your mind, and then when you go watch the movie, it's actually not as crazy as you were led to believe. And that's because they're leveraging the film festival to draw as many eyes to their website or their YouTube channel or whatever in the most craziest of ways, and using these really insane headlines and really drumming up these movies to draw in clicks. You get some that are definitely genuine, but you do just hear these wild things, especially on Twitter, and you're just like, I'd never heard of a movie be that crazy before. And then you watch it and it's really not. And you also hear about the standing ovations going into that now. Last year, notoriously, Indiana Jones 5 got a 5-minute standing ovation. Now, for the vast majority of people, a standing ovation means that you overwhelmingly loved that movie or whatever you watched or enjoyed. You're giving it a standing ovation. You're on your feet applauding. It means you love it and you're passionate about it. I mean, when have you ever gone to a movie theater and heard people clap in the theater? Only a couple times maybe, right? If you've gone and seen a big spectacle movie or something, you might have heard it. But when it's every single screening gets a 2 to 3, 4, 5, 6 minute standing ovation, even a 1 minute standing ovation is a big deal for a movie to normal people. At a film festival, that's kind of mediocre. And especially at Cannes, where the reactions are just so elongated. Now, there are a number of reasons for why that is. If you've actually seen the footage of these standing ovations, they're really awkward, so I understand why you wouldn't. They're very cringy. There was one for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where the cameraman was right in the cast's face and Quentin Tarantino's face, and he looked so uncomfortable. That's the worst watch ever. But when you're actually watching these applauses, they're less applauding the movie sometimes and more applauding the people in the movie. Because this film festival is so prestigious, the cast, the director, everyone is there in attendance. And when the film ends, they put on the cinema screen the cast and the director, and they individually get their own shot and go through them all. So it's less like the audience is applauding the movie and more applauding the people in the movie. Kind of like if you saw a stage production. At the end of pretty much every stage production, the cast and crew come out on stage and take a bow, and everyone gives a standing ovation, right? Because it's the polite thing to do, even if you didn't really enjoy it. But most of the time, everyone has a good time. They applaud the cast and the crew, and that's all she wrote. And it's kind of similar for the Cannes Film Festival, except they hold the camera on these people for so long, especially if it's a big cast. As much as I love Wes Anderson movies, you know, The French Dispatch and Asteroid City, both movies that I really love, are kind of mixed with a lot of people, but they got these really long standing ovations. And that is because the cast in his movies are fucking huge. And they're panning over all of them, giving them all a round of applause. And really acknowledging what they did in the movie. So that is why I think a lot of films do get a standing ovation. Now, obviously, if it gets beyond a certain length, I usually think the 8 to 10 minute range is when we start thinking, okay, people actually do have some passion for this movie. But sometimes that can almost be disingenuous as well, and the reaction won't match what you think when you watch the movie. I mean, if you just look at the most recent example with Megalopolis that just released not that long ago, like only a few hours ago, received a 10-minute standing ovation with some boos mixed in, and then you see the Rotten Tomatoes score and it is not pretty. It's about a 45% the last time I checked. It could have changed significantly since then. That is very mixed. I mean, that means 45% of critics enjoyed the movie, were really passionate about it, and 55% didn't like it. And that is not really what you would expect for a movie that would get a 10-minute standing ovation, right? 10-minute standing ovation to most people means everyone loved it and had an amazing time. Now, obviously, the boos put in there means that some people hated it, and that might be showing the critical reaction to it. But I can guarantee, I'd be willing to bet money that by the end of the year, whenever Megalopolis releases, the audience score is going to be horrendous. I don't think many people are going to like that movie from what I am hearing. I think a lot of people that are into art house cinema, like myself, like a lot of other people, are going to be into it and are really excited for it. But I'm talking about the casual audience here. Someone that just was like, okay, I'll try this. I want to see something different. Checks out Megalopolis, right? I don't think they're going to like the movie. And they're going to see the reactions out of Cannes about it getting a 10-minute standing ovation and be like, these people are insane, right? But I do think the reaction, the applause, was more for Francis Ford Coppola. He's a legendary director. He put his heart and soul into the movie. And I think the French people and the press really appreciate that. And that's why they got the big applause, because it was so ambitious and was dared to do something different. And to be honest, sometimes it all just means nothing at points. I mean, I have heard examples where some of Quentin Tarantino's movies got booed. Pulp Fiction, which won, I believe, the Palme d'Or, which is the top prize at the Cannes Film Festival. It won that year. That received boos in its screening. And it boggles my mind how those movies would get treated as such. These people are going to these screenings looking for a certain type of movie. And if they don't get it, they're going to be unhappy. And if they do kind of get it, they're going to be happy. And what they're looking for is totally different to what the casual audience is looking for in a movie. And I think that is where the discourse lies. That is why people kind of scoff at these standing ovations, because especially lately, it does seem like the Cannes audience is now conditioned to give these standing ovations for every single movie because it's part of the experience. And that can feel disingenuous now, because even something like The Idol, which no one liked when that released, got a standing ovation. It just happens now for everything. So I think when you do hear these headlines, please don't take it seriously, because I just don't think that it's coming from a genuine place. It's more a reaction to the cast and crew that are there in attendance, and less about the quality of the movie, TV show, whatever is premiering there. And people are just excited to be there. But anyway, I just thought I'd give context to what these ovations really mean, who's really going to these film festivals, and why there is such a disparity between what the audience thinks of these movies versus what these critics think at these film festivals, and how they're wildly different at points. But I think it adds to the excitement. I do love hearing the reactions out of the Cannes Film Festival, especially because they're always so wild and really just say the craziest things about these movies, and it's all taken out of context, so you don't really know if it fits within the context of the movie or if it's just something wild and outlandish. it's just fun reading about it and seeing what's kind of going on there. As I said, I would really love to go one day. It's a huge dream of mine, and I'm not jealous at all of all the people that are there right now, I swear. But anyway, those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this festival in particular, why the Ovations are like what they are, and how do you react to these headlines? I'd really love to hear your thoughts. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you really like this channel, consider hitting the join button down below and becoming a member. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.